Hi friends, it's Jessie from Happy Breath. Today I want to share a piece of my heart with you, a raw and unfiltered update on my journey. Over the past few months, life has taken me through quite a transition. I've walked away from a decade-long career in mental health to pursue my passions, art, yoga, and the pursuit of genuine happiness. You see, 2023 was a challenging year. Despite helping countless others, I realized I wasn't living in alignment with my core values. Burnout consumed me, and it took a toll on my mental and physical health. It's not easy to admit this, but it's a part of my journey. As you watch me speed through hours of cleaning footage today, every item placed in its home is a step toward reclaiming my joy. So buckle up, because I've got a lot to say and a lot to clean. As I mentioned before, I've been struggling pretty heavily with burnout, and now I'm trying to navigate my way through life after making some pretty major changes. I resigned from my career in the mental health field after 10 years and am pursuing my dreams to become an artist, a yoga teacher, and honestly, just a generally better and happier person. I've worked the last decade as a case manager and a grant coordinator at a nonprofit organization where I've helped probably close to 1,000 people obtain access to life's necessities. I've helped people through bouts of darkness during health issues and life crises and suicidal ideation, psychosis, depression, financial hardships, addiction, etc. I've helped people in all walks of life, of all ages, all various races and ethnicities. And in that time, and through all of those experiences, I've learned so much about the human condition. I always tried to make sure to take care of myself, knowing that I am no use to someone if I am running on empty. Over the years, I've developed skills outside of work and gathered hobby after hobby to make sure I'm focusing on myself enough to be able to pour into other people. I watch my water intake, I exercise, I try to eat healthy but also indulge an appropriate amount. I try to be social but also take the time I need to myself. But even with all of these efforts, I still managed to completely and utterly burn out. In my job, in my life, it felt like I was trying to light a match that had already been used and burnt up. I couldn't reignite because there was nothing left to strike. 2023 was quite possibly the hardest year of my life. I lost sight of what mattered to me. While I was doing work that I loved, it wasn't bringing me the same amount of joy it once had. Something had changed inside of me, but I wasn't letting myself see it. I was putting blinders on and pretending like everything was normal when in fact my worldview was shifting. My outlook on life was growing, and I was beginning to recognize that I wasn't living up to my potential or being nearly as effective in helping people as I could be. Don't get me wrong, grant work is incredibly valuable to the community, but I knew I could be doing more. I was not living in alignment with my core values or beliefs anymore, and that cognitive dissonance was creating a lot more stress than I even realized. My body was even physically reacting, telling me things were not okay, and I still wasn't listening. I was getting sick more often, staying sick for longer. I had no energy or motivation to do anything. I was becoming more reclusive. My husband would ask if I was depressed, but I refused to acknowledge that I may be. I talked to my doctors about anxiety and digestion issues and my unhappy skin, but depression was not even on my radar. I had seen and worked with people experiencing depression and suicidal ideation, and that wasn't me. There was no way, right? But now, having come out the other side, I'm looking at the deep, dark valley behind me and realizing, yes, maybe I was depressed. And I'm not saying I have a clinical or chronic case of depression, but yes, my attitude and overall well-being were being negatively affected by my decreased mood. And what else do we call that if not a depressed state? My inability to recognize or acknowledge that I was feeling depressed sent my body into a state of panic. I landed myself in the hospital with a panic attack, legitimately thinking I was going to die that night. As they wheeled me on a gurney through the hospital, I was texting all of my friends and family that I loved them because I thought that was my last night on this earth. I had come to terms with the fact that my heart was giving up on me, and I was absolutely terrified. That was August of 2023, and it's now February of 2024, and I finally feel as if I have come out the other side. I started therapy. I became more open with my friends and family about my problems. I did the work. I learned to accept my circumstances, and I brainstormed ways to make better use of whatever time I have left on this rock in space. After much deliberation, I decided to make a drastic change and leave the world of mental health, the only career I had ever known. My once overflowing cup had become empty, and I was no longer helpful to my clients who needed me to be on my A game in every encounter. Their life and their livelihood depended on it. After resigning, I took time to recalibrate, to find myself again, to drop my baggage and sort through what I still needed and discard what I didn't. I'm still a work in progress, but I feel good. I feel well. I feel healthy and stable and content. I feel like my cup is refilling. Now, why am I sharing all of this with you? Because authenticity matters. Life isn't always a highlight reel, and pretending otherwise feels disingenuous. I want this space to be real, a reflection of the highs and the lows, the struggles and the victories. While I already had a vision for this channel before all of this started, I'm using this time to reintroduce myself now that I have a better idea of what I want and who I am. I want to be vulnerable. I want to be authentic, and I want to be transparent. Pretending like everything is just dandy all of the time is not any of those things. Life is hard, and it's made even harder by the facades we put on for each other. As I'm writing this, I catch myself biting my nails out of fear of being vulnerable on the internet, and as I speak, I'm realizing I'm voicing this over a sped up video of me cleaning because it feels entirely too vulnerable to talk directly to a camera about these things. This is how I know that I'm on the right path. So I've quit my job. I have very little income coming in. But luckily my husband is able to support us both. He has been incredibly understanding through this entire process, and he is so kind to agree to support me while I find my new purpose in this world. I know and I understand that I am incredibly privileged to be able to take this journey, and I will forever be grateful to my husband. His unwavering support is the bedrock, allowing me to navigate this uncharted path. I am officially a full-time artist, yoga teacher, life liver, dream catcher, and seeker of joy. I plan to document my journey here with the hopes that I inspire you to follow your dreams too. Please don't quit your job on a whim, but do deliberately live your life and appreciate every single little happy breath that you can get, because sometimes joy goes on vacation and leaves us to fend for ourselves. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. Let's navigate this journey together. See you soon, friends. Namaste.